शरीरलोका प्राणाय कारुण्य धनाधनतम् भक्त सकलन गुणानवश वन्दे दुरासी चरणारविन्दं वन्दे दुरासी चरणारविन्दं वन्दे दुरासी चरणारविन्दं वन्दे दुरासी चरणारविन्दं। Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jai Srila Prabhupada, and all glories to the assembled devotees here on a Saturday morning from Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. And we want to thank you for joining us in our weekly sadhana program of 3 classes. This is part of a schedule that we expect all of our members that are interested in initiation, those who are considering making a further formal commitment to Srila Prabhupada to practice bhakti yoga according to his directions and in his instructions, making it more formal in their application to this process. So we have 3 classes a week, as you all know. And we do invite other people to join us. Even at the end of this program, we request people to come to the classes on a regular basis, and other people as well to join us. And so this is part of the preaching effort. If someone is interested in initiation, then they should be propagating in their own area the process of Krishna consciousness. And we have these cards that we give out. I'll show it to you. We have to do an edit on them, but these are the cards that I give out when I was traveling with my son. Every place we went, I would give a person one of these cards, and it gives the details, the contact information for them to join us online and be a part of this process of hearing from the pure devotee A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, because that association, his association, is vital if someone is interested in getting out of the entanglement of material life. This association through sound vibration, based on the unchanged books of His Divine Grace is the key to the mystery of spiritual life. And anyone who understands this will be able to relish Prabhupada's presence in his Vani incarnation with us all. And that association is great shelter, because in this world, everyone is struggling to exist. Every living entity. I was listening to a lecture, and Prabhupada was asked this question. Well, the person thinks, well, I won't be afraid of dying. And Prabhupada goes, he is a crazy man. Because everyone, no matter who they are, no one likes to die. Everyone wants to live on. This is the nature of the spirit soul, Sat Chit Ananda, full of eternity, knowledge, and bliss. That is our natural position. But under association with the material body, we think we can live on in this world, but we don't. And the time factor is constantly affecting everyone and everything. It's ephemeral, constantly changing. So the only way to remove this fear is through knowledge, transcendental knowledge. And Prabhupada gave us the insight in his books, how to get out of this material world. It's a great mystery, the pursuit of truth. And in this way, we've been blessed by his divine grace and his tremendous effort to provide us insight into the spiritual world. We are reading right now in Chaitanya Charitamrita, and by the way, the class has been changed to Thursdays, the reading and discussion. So please make note of that. But further, we're reading right now from the Brahma Samhita in Chaitanya Charitamrita, and the purport. And the purport is very extensive. It gives so many insights into the transcendental realm by the grace of Srila Prabhupada, who is living in the spiritual world. He was living in the spiritual world even while he was here in this material world. And this is the benefit of association with a pure devotee. It's quality that we're looking for, not quantity. And the quality of Prabhupada's preaching, the quality of his practice of devotional service, his determination, we'll be reading now next in the diary, how determined he was and detached from all difficulties when he was in New York City in the 60s, 1966. So this is a perfect example for us to follow. And I hope everyone's appreciating the diaries, the reading of the diaries, because within the pages of these diaries, we get deep insight on how we should apply ourselves to the process of Kṛṣṇa consciousness through studying the life of Srila Prabhupada in this very intimate manner. And I wanted to mention before we go ahead with it that our godbrother Aprakrita in Montreal, who recently left us, was practicing this process very seriously. Yashoda stayed with him in Montreal and noticed how austere he really was. Even though he was not really in good health for many years, he applied himself with a great determination and diligence to carry out the orders of our spiritual master without any hesitation. And this is the example we should all follow as well, in the footsteps of great God brothers and in the footsteps of our spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, and apply ourselves to this process and take up service whenever possible. We have a variety of items that we're doing with the Prabhupada Disciples Association, Hare Krishna Society, and we encourage you to step up and get in touch with us and see what you can do to help us propagate this message of truth, which has been terribly distorted by our God brothers in the ISKCON movement. Yes. And that is something that's intolerable for all of us, to see Prabhupada's mission, due to whimsical behavior of a few, become destroyed. And this is unfolding as we carry on in our journey in time. And the results are there, and it's self-evident, except for those that are blinded by these people that are misleading them. So we'll go to the diaries now. On Monday, February 28th, 1966. Now remember, Prabhupada, if you've been following along with us, had a problem with his sink. He had a sink in his office room, and it backed up, and it damaged all the mats on the floor. Imagine also where he was resting, because he lived very simply and humbly. And he was waiting for the superintendent to send somebody, a plumber, to fix the sink. And it just went on and on for days. And he ended up at the Ananda ashram, and he was staying there trying to await for that to happen. So where is our Prabhu here? Yeah, there we go. So Monday, February 28th, engagement with the first secretary of Permanent Commission of Nepal State to the United Nations at 2 p.m. Saw the first secretary, Mr. Kedar P. Karala, and is hopeful he will let me know very soon. Expenditures was the bus fare, 30 cents. I guess it must have been 15 cents each way. Income was $1. And he received one letter from Ban Maharaj and one letter from Atma Singh, and then he replied to the letter. And we'll see that on the March 8th entry moving forward. And here we are in March, so time is marching. Books, Prabhupada on March 4th. So this gives us an overall perspective here, and then we'll read the daily sections moving forward this week and furthermore. Income was $9, contributions and books. On March 7th, the collection made out of contribution and books was $28. Larry Bogart returned books for Mr. Lachlan to examine, went to Paragon. Paragon had received 35 sets. Up to date, I've taken back 15 sets. 20 sets remain with them. Income by contributions and books was $13. On the 10th, one set of books left with New Direction Books, 333 6th Avenue. On the 11th of March, I went to Paragon Books and corrected error in stock. On the 15th, requested Joan to pick up books from Paragon. She agreed to do it. On the 16th, Joan was kind enough to get my books, 16 sets from Paragon Books Gallery. The books are brought and kept in stock. 18th, a letter from Chandrasekhar. There is some good sales of Srimad Bhagavatam, he reports. On the 23rd, I sent a letter to the Library of Congress asking for the library card of my Srimad Bhagavatam. On the 26th, today, when I came back from Dr. Mishra's apartment at 1 p.m., I saw the window on the door broken, and entering the door, I saw my tape recorder, typewriter, and book bags stolen. On the 29th, Robert brought me an old typewriter. Income, one set of books, sold a $16.80 check. And on the 30th, Mr. Peter Blaine handed over to me one German machine bold type. Classes and kirtans. Ekadasi observed. In the evening, only 2 visitors came. There were some topics on the meditation yoga. Income contribution was $1. And Dr. Mishra wanted my kirtan in his meetings. I am considering. On the 5th, at 2 o'clock, went to Ananda Ashram Kirtans, was performed in the evening. Very much appreciated. On the 6th, the whole day passed at Monroe, Ananda Ashram. In the morning, there was a kirtan. Returned from Monroe at 6 p.m., talked with Mr. Majid of Tehran, Iran, took lessons for more than 1.5 hours. Today is Achievas Day of Gur Purnima. Devotees of Vrindavan and Navadvip are enjoying the celebration. So his mind is back in India. He's in complete solitude there, in a relative sense. I've come here to serve the Lord and not for personal happiness. On the 7th was Lord Chaitanya's birthday, fasting and observed at 5:30 p.m. 7 ladies and a gentleman attended today's meeting. There were topics on Gita and Kirtan. On the 10th, Kirtan performed at Studio Yolanda, 2 other ladies, and another gentleman came. On the 12th, I was to go to Monroe, but Yolanda did not go, so I could not go there. Food made for Dr. Mishra was partly contributed to Kohan and Yolanda. Kohan preparing to go to California. 1/2 tape recorded, prepared for him. He assured maintenance of rent of my room. So he's got someone that's going to pay for the room, Mr. Cohen. In the evening, 2 ladies and Mr. Sussman came. There were some discussions. One of the ladies brought me bread for me. On the 15th in the evening, 5 ladies and a gentleman visited. There were some talks. On the 16th in the evening, there was a meeting. The attendance was 3 only. Income was $3. Only by contribution. On the 17th in the evening, 2 ladies and 1 gentleman came. 3 people. Mr. Tony came to see me. There was some discussions. On the 18th, tonight, 5 ladies and a gentleman attended the meeting at 7 p.m., 9:15 p.m., and 15-minute talks. Kirtan and lectures on the Bhagavad Gita performed. Income by contribution was $4. Hardly any money, totally. Barely survival. I prepared on tape recorder, Chintamani. Oh, yeah, that's On the 20th, some 4 gentlemen and ladies came to see me. We talked for some time. Okay. And on the 21st, I distributed prasadam to all at Dr. Mishra's ashram. In the evening, there was a meeting. 5 ladies and gentlemen attended. The Gita explained about individuality of the living entities. On the 22nd in the evening, 2 gentlemen and a lady came. They discussed for some time. On the 23rd, today's meeting, 2 gentlemen attended. On the 24th, Captain Pandya and Mrs. Pandya came to see me. 3 ladies and 3 gentlemen, besides the captain and his wife, attended the meeting. Mr. Robert brought some fruits and grains for me. On the 25th of March, there was a meeting in the evening. 7 ladies and a gentleman attended. Captain and Mrs. Pandya, who were there, also were there. Income was $22. Everyone brought some fruits and grains. There were 2 newcomers, and their addresses were taken. On the 27th, I spent the night at Studio 501 when Mr. Howard of 71 Street became acquainted with me. He appears to be a good friend. On the 28th, there was a meeting in the evening. 5 ladies and gentlemen attended. Bhagavad Gita was discussed. On the 29th, went to see the loft of Mr. Paul. Can be used for meeting and Sankirtan purposes nicely. That's in the Bowery. And on the 30th, an evening meeting held and 7 attended. Susman and Paul will come Friday, April 1st, and take me to the loft. And on the 31st, only 2 persons came today to meet me. So we'll stop there and move forward with the rest of our program, but I think we can all see that Prabhupada was not stopping despite the poor response that he was getting from people and the problems that he was encountering living in New York City in 1966 on his mission to spread Krishna consciousness to the Western speaking people under the order of his spiritual master, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami, Srila Prabhupada. We'll move forward with the chanting of Jaya Radha Madhava and then our reading and discussion led with His Grace Yashodanandana Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Singh. Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Bihari Jaya Radha Punya Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Bihari Jaya Radha Punya Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari परिषद सदस्य मान भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णववृंद की जय, नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद से अद्वैत गदाधर शिवास आदि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गो गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरिवर्धन की जय, वृंदावन धाम की जय, नवद्वीप धाम की जय, स्वामी तो भक्तवृंद की जय, गंगा माई की जय, जमुना माई की जय, तुलसी देवी की जय, भक्ति देवी की जय, स्वामी तो भक्तवृंद की जय। All glories to the assembled Lord. All glories to the assembled Lord. Thank you very much.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. O my Lord Sri Krishna, the son of Vasudeva, the all-pervading personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. From Srimad Bhagavatam 1:1:1. Narayanam namaskritya Narayanam namaskritya Naram cheva narottamam Naram cheva narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet Tato Jayam Udirayet. One should utter the means of conquest, Srimad Bhagavatam and Srimad Bhagavad Gita, after offering respectful obeisances, 1. To the personality of Godhead Narayana, 2. To the Narayana Rishi, who is the supermost human being, 3. To the Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, then 4. To Srila Vyasadeva, the author, from Srimad Bhagavatam 1-4. Welcome everyone to this reading and discussion on Srimad Bhagavad Gita. As we do every week, we will be reciting a few Sanskrit verses, which were Sanskrit mantras, which were introduced by Srila Prabhupada himself in 1966 when he started his preaching mission in New York. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuranmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. I was born in the darkest ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torch of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. Sri Chaitanya Mano Bhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Svapadantikam. When will Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada, who has established within this material world the mission to fulfill the desire of Lord Chaitanya, give me shelter under his lotus feet? Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahaguna Raghunathan Anvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamscha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of my spiritual master and unto the feet of all Vaishnavas. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of Srila Rupa Goswami, along with his elder brother Sanatana Goswami, as well as Raghunath Dasa and Raghunath Bhatta, Gopala Bhatta, and Srila Jiva Goswami. I offer my respectful obeisances to Lord Krishna Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, along with Advaita Acharya, Gadadhar, Srivas, and other associates. I offer my respectful obeisances to Srimati Radharani and Sri Krishna, along with their associates Sri Lalita and Vishaka. Te Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute. Oh, my dear Krishna, you're the friend of the distressed and the source of creation. You are the master of the gopis and the lover of Radharani. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. I offer my respects to Radharani, whose bodily complexion is like molten gold, and who is the queen of Vrindavana. You are the daughter of King Vrishabhanu, and you are very dear to Lord Krishna. Vanchakalpa tarubhyascha kripa sindubhya evacha patitanam pavanibhyo Vaishnavibhyo namo namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord who can fulfill the desires of everyone, just like desire trees, and who are full of compassion for the fallen souls. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrindam Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. This reading is being conducted on the basis of the original, non-adulterated, non-interpolated, non-edited Srimad Bhagavad Gita 1972 Macmillan edition, all synonyms, translations, and purports by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, founder Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. We are reading from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 11, text number 48. Naveda yagnya dhyayaner nadaner na chakriya bhir na tapovirugreh evam rupaha shakyaham nriloke drashtum tvadanyena kuru pravira. Na, never. Veda, Vedic study. Yajna, sacrifice. Adhyayane, studying. Nadhane, by charity. Na, never. Cha, also. Kriyabihi, by pious activities. Natapobihi, by serious penances. Ugre, severe. Evam, thus. Rupaha, form. Shakyaha, can be seen. Aham, I. Nriloke, in this material world. Drashtum, to see. Tvat, you. Anyena, by another. Kuru pravira, O best among the Kuru warriors. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. O best of the Kuru warriors, no one before you has ever seen this universal form of mind, for neither by studying the Vedas, nor by performing sacrifices, nor by charities or similar activities can this form be seen. Only you have seen this. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The divine vision in this connection should be clearly understood. Who can have divine vision? Divine means godly. Unless one attains the status of divinity as a demigod, he cannot have divine vision. And what is a demigod? It is stated in the Vedic scriptures that those who are devotees of Lord Vishnu are demigods. Those who are atheistic, i.e., who do not believe in Vishnu, or who only recognize the impersonal part of Kṛṣṇa as the supreme, cannot have the divine vision. It is not possible to decry Kṛṣṇa and at the same time have the divine vision. One cannot have the divine vision without becoming divine. In other words, those who have divine vision can also see, like Arjuna. The Bhagavad Gita gives the description of the universal form, and this description was unknown to everyone before Arjuna. Now, one can have some idea of this Vishwarupa after this incident. Those who are actually divine can see the universal form of the Lord, but one cannot be divine without being a pure devotee of Kṛṣṇa. The devotees, however, who are actually in the divine nature and who have divine vision, are not very much interested to see the universal form of the Lord. As described in the previous verse, Arjuna desired to see the four-handed form of Lord Kṛṣṇa as Vishnu, and he was actually afraid of the universal form. In this verse, there are some significant words, just like Veda Yajna Dhyayane, which refers to studying Vedic literature and the subject matter of sacrificial regulations. Veda refers to all kinds of Vedic literatures, namely the four Vedas, Rik, Yajus, Sama, and Atharva, and the 18 Puranas and Upanishads and Vedanta Sutra. One can study these at home or anywhere else. Similarly, there are sutras, Kalpa Sutras and Mimamsa Sutras, for studying the method of sacrifice. Danaihi refers to charity, which is offered to a suitable party, such as those who are engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord, the Brahmanas and the Vaishnavas. Similarly, pious activities refers to the Agnihotra, etc., the prescribed duties of the different castes. Pious activities and the voluntary acceptance of some bodily pains are called tapasya. So one can perform all these, can accept bodily penances, give charity, study of the Vedas, etc. But unless he's a devotee like Arjuna, it is not possible to see that universal form. Those who are impersonalists are also imagining that they are seeing the universal form of the Lord. But from Bhagavad Gita, we understand that the impersonalists are not devotees. Therefore, they are unable to see the universal form of the Lord. There are many persons who create incarnations. They falsely claim an ordinary human to be an incarnation, but this is all foolishness. We should follow the principles of Bhagavad Gita. Otherwise, there is no possibility of attaining perfect spiritual knowledge. Although Bhagavad Gita is considered the preliminary study of the science of God, still it is so perfect that one can distinguish what is what. The followers of a pseudo-incarnation may say that they have also seen the transcendental incarnation of God, the universal form, But that is not acceptable, because it is clearly stated here that unless one becomes a devotee of Kṛṣṇa, one cannot see the universal form of God. So one first has to become a pure devotee of Kṛṣṇa. Then he can claim that he can show the universal form of what he has seen. A devotee of Kṛṣṇa cannot accept false incarnations or followers of false incarnations. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuranmiritam Yena Tasmai Shigurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shwanyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Bhakti Siddhanta Shishyaya Bhaktivedanta Namine Prasannaya Prashantaya Tasmai Shigurave Namaham Bhagavad Vandanam Kadyam Guru Vandana Purvakam Kshiram Sharkara Yuktam Kadati Visheshatah Adadana Strinam Danteridam Yachi Punah Punah Srimadrupa Padam Bhoja Dhulisyam Janma Janmani Amsho Bhagavatusmyaham Sadadaso Asmi Sarvata Tat Kripa Pikshako Nityam Tat Prishta Sat Karumishvam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrindam Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. There are many very important points in this purport by Srila Prabhupada, the foremost of which is one has to be a devotee to engage in the devotional activities of Krishna consciousness. In the Vedas, it is described, Nadeva Devamarchayet, that one cannot worship the supreme divinity or God without becoming godlike or godly. This is the recommendation of the Vedic literatures. We're all familiar with Srila Prabhupada. Whenever he had ceremonies, marriage ceremonies, temple opening ceremonies, initiation ceremonies, any kind of fire sacrifice, he would begin the ceremony by engaging everybody in repeating the very famous mantra, Apavitra Pavitrova Sarvavashtam Gato Piva Yasmaret Pundarikaksham Sa Bahyabhyantara Suchihi. Meaning that in any situation in life, whether purified or unpurified, if one remembers the lotus-eyed personality of Godhead, Pundarikaksha, one immediately becomes sanctified. And the reason for that is this is the recommendation of all the Vedas. I had an interesting inquiry this week from two devotees. They wanted to know how Srila Prabhupada got me involved in the Gurukul in Vrindavan, the Bhaktivedanta Swami Gurukul. This goes back a little bit in time. In 1972, we had gone to South India, and we met Srila Prabhupada in Bombay at the apartment of Kartikeya Mahadevya, who was a highly placed officer of the Mafatla group of companies. And Srila Prabhupada wanted to hear the description of what we had preached and where we had preached. So both Guru Kripa Swami and myself, we described to Srila Prabhupada our activities, our preaching, and And at one point, Prabhupada said, I understand that you both like to chant this Brahma Samhita. And we told Prabhupada, yes. So Prabhupada says, well, you can bring me one tape recorder and I will give you a personal recording of Brahma Samhita. So this is a very important point. We, some way or other, witnessed Srila Prabhupada singing the entire Brahma Samhita. We recorded it. And when it came to that verse, Premanjana Chudita Bhakti Vilochanena, Prabhupada started to cry. So it was a very interesting, fascinating experience to see His divine grace experiencing wonderful symptoms of advanced bhakti, a very special bhakti. And then 2 years later in Vrindavan on a morning walk, Srila Prabhupada was walking with Korandar, and near the Parikram path, near the Madan Mohan temple, the temple that had been built for Sanatan Goswami, in the morning in Vrindavan, there's a recitation of what's called Suprabhatam, which is a very melodious prayer offered to Lord Vishnu. This comes from the loudspeaker of the Ranganath temple. So Prabhupada stopped on the walk and he pointed out, oh, this chanting. Any one of you can learn this, how to chant like this? Of course, that particular Sanskrit meter for the Suprabhatam is very different than the Brahma Samhita. But the melodious singing is what Srila Prabhupada wanted us to learn. So when we went back to South India, we consulted one devotee who was very favorable to Srila Prabhupada. His name was Sampat Kurma Bhattacharya, and he basically showed us how to sing Brahma Samhita in a very melodious, very harmonious way. And fast forward again, 2 years later, in 1976 in Vrindavan in October, when they were doing the morning program for the deities, the baiting of the deities, I would sometimes go close to the deity room and sing Brahma Samhita. So one morning, I got news from one of Prabhupada's servants that Prabhupada wants to see you. And I thought that I was going to be in trouble, that Prabhupada was going to chastise me or something. So I went in Srila Prabhupada's room, and Srila Prabhupada looked at me very seriously. Now, I realize that some of you may not have the experience of being directly with Srila Prabhupada, but Prabhupada would sit behind his little table there, and sometimes you would get the chance to be 3 or 4 feet or 5 feet away from Srila Prabhupada. And many times he would be very, very serious, very stoic. So he stared at me and says, is that you that was chanting this Sanskrit there? I said, yes, Srila Prabhupada. So you're chanting this Brahma Samhita? I said, yes, Srila Prabhupada. I says, very good. So you stay here and teach the children and devotees how to sing this. You do that. I said, oh, okay. So that is how I got involved in the original Bhaktivinoda Swami Gurukul in Vrindavan. At that time, the Gurukul was in the guest house behind the Krishna Balaram temple because the Gurukul building was still being constructed. So it was my good fortune that Srila Prabhupada gave me that instruction. But the point I'm trying to make here in this verse, Prabhupada is making a very important point in the first paragraph, that unless one attains the status of divinity as a demigod, he cannot have divine vision. And what is a demigod? It is stated in the Vedic scriptures that those who are devotees of Lord Vishnu are demigods. Those who are atheistic, in other words, who do not believe in Vishnu, or only recognize, first paragraph. Thank you. Okay. Those who are atheistic, that do not believe in Vishnu, or who only recognize the impersonal part of Krishna as the supreme, cannot have the divine vision. It is not possible to decry Kṛṣṇa and at the same time have the divine vision. One cannot have the divine vision without becoming divine. In other words, those who have divine vision can also see like Arjuna. And this is what Srila Prabhupada is giving. He's giving the chance to everyone to develop, to obtain that divine vision. It doesn't matter if one has personally seen Prabhupada or received personal instruction from Prabhupada. It doesn't matter. If one hears the message submissively from the Acharya, he will develop the transcendental vision. One has to hear, one has to follow the message, and then gradually one will know the position of Kṛṣṇa, the position of the demigod, the position of the universal form. Everything becomes very clear. Just like in the morning when the sun comes up, you don't need a flashlight or a torch or anything to see the sun. The sun automatically, the light of the sun will enable one to see everything. Everything becomes clear. Very simple. Similarly, by hearing the message, the non-adulterated, non-edited message from the Acharya, one will be able to see everything very nicely. And this is very important. Just like we have right on our screen, this Mataji from Montreal, Canada, Rochisa Mataji. Behind her head is this picture of Srila Prabhupada arriving in America. This is quite significant that every time we look at the screen, we see Srila Prabhupada right there. And Prabhupada is looking at every one of us, and Prabhupada is telling us, just try to understand. We have seen so many times Srila Prabhupada, especially in India, he would receive some guest, and he would preach, he would talk to them. And right in the middle of talking, he would interrupt and he'd say, just try to understand. So many times Prabhupada would repeat this because he knew they were not fully understanding, but he kept requesting them, just try to understand. Same way the message applies to every one of us. We should all try to understand the divine transcendental message of Srila Prabhupada from Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. Thank you very much. Hare Kṛṣṇa, Hare Kṛṣṇa.
Thank you very much. That was a wonderful explanation of how you became headmaster in Vrindavan for
Head
the
servant.
group.
Head
Pardon?
servant. Head servant.
Head servant. And it is amazing how we're getting so many insights into Prabhupada's personality, his mannerisms, through hearing from Yashodanandana Prabhu, who has such a extremely excellent memory of these details. Exceptional, actually, and a real treasure. We're very thankful for that. And I know all of you do appreciate this opportunity to be a part of this program and this weekly schedule of classes and readings and discussions based on the original books that Srila Prabhupada delivered to us as well. Because this is how we become divine, is through the practice of bhakti yoga. I had a friend of mine, I've known him since the 80s, and he was a member of the Toronto Temple, and he would talk to me about how he wanted to develop good qualities. Oh, I want to have all these good qualities, the divine qualities that are described here in today's verse. And he thought you could artificially develop them. I tried to explain to him that these qualities develop through the practice of devotional service, bhakti yoga, that automatically they evolve. If you simply, and in our case, if you simply serve the bona fide spiritual master, then these qualities will emanate from you. And without any kind of mechanical adjustment. I, dwelling within the heart, destroy with the shining lamp of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance. Kṛṣṇa is dwelling as Paramatma in the heart of all of us. And through his mercy, when he sees us making an effort to make advancement in the service of his pure devotee, Srila Prabhupada, that pleases him very much. So these qualities that we're looking for, they come about through the strict practice of devotional service, by chanting every day without fail. Like a sports athlete, they're always committed to training every day. They don't do it one day and the next day they don't. They train every day. And some of them, they say, we're always prepared for entering the arena or the game. So like that, we as devotees, we're always training ourselves by the chanting, which is a great thing, the chanting of 16 rounds. Such an important part of our discipline. We have to be disciplined. And we also have to be surrendered to the service of the spiritual master and his disciples that are following him. This service, this is something that we can all look at in our personal life. Just like we're reading the diaries, Yashodanandana Prabhu, we're seeing how much Prabhupada was doing on a daily basis in his daytimer, his diary. And we have to look at our own daytimers and see, what are we doing to serve the mission of Srila Prabhupada? There's so much to do. There really is. And there are different levels. Someone, if they can't actually serve, they could give money. Yes. Lakshmi is needed. Prabhupada was keeping close track of the Lakshmi he was receiving from the books he was selling. And then further investing the money in Krishna's service. This was our plan, of course, as we move forward with our development of our book distribution, which is a primary service of PDA Hare Krishna Society, along with these classes, is to reprint these original books at a small level, whatever level we can, and provide them for our members for distribution to others, and give everyone an opportunity to take up the process of devotional service under the proper direction of A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. This is not a cheap thing, not whimsical. And we do appreciate all the people that are with us that are serious about spiritual life. Prabhupada said you shouldn't take a guru as a fad or fashion. Only those people that are truly serious. And that's what we're interested in at the PDA Hare Krishna Society. We're not interested in quantity. We are interested in quality, and a few good men and women can do amazing things when they work together to cooperate in spreading Krishna consciousness while we still have time, because time is marching. And is the most valuable thing is time. You can't be bought back for millions of gold coins when it's lost. So I wanted to commend Yashodanandana Prabhu on his constant distribution of information online to everyone. And it's a sign of his character and his personality and commitment to this mission. And I wanted to go to the Bhagavad Gita, to the 16th chapter, which I happen to be reading right now, and it deals with divine and demoniac natures. And I wanted to read, Rupesh, the text 1 to 3, just so we get an idea of the symptoms of a person who's applying themselves to devotional service, what kind of character they are developing. So we'll read the translation. That's text 1 to 3, divine and demoniac natures. The divine nature, the blessed Lord said, Kṛṣṇa says, fearlessness, purification of one's existence, cultivation of spiritual knowledge, charity, self-control, performance of sacrifice, study of the Vedas, austerity and simplicity, nonviolence, truthfulness, freedom from anger, renunciation, tranquility, aversion to fault finding. Aversion to fault finding. This is a tendency that is very hard to overcome because people are always captivated by their own false ego. And envy is also there. And when they see other people succeeding, they want to find fault with them. Compassion and freedom from covetousness, gentleness, modesty, and steady determination, vigor, forgiveness, fortitude, cleanliness, freedom from envy and passion, for honor. These transcendental qualities, O son of Bharata, belong to godly men endowed with divine nature. So this all develops through the strict discipline of bhakti yoga. These qualities will emanate from the character of the individual that's strictly following. And I wanted to, just before we move back to our panel, into the discussion with Yashodanandana, I wanted to go to text 9. The reason I'm going to text 9 of chapter 16 of the Gita, text 9, is because Prakrita got a hold of me last year. And I read this purport in the program, and he wanted me to further give him direction where it was. He missed it when I did, because he found it very intriguing. And this purport too is very important because we're dealing with divine and demoniac natures. So the demoniac society that we're in right now is moving in a direction towards war and destruction. This appears to be the case. And I was on the morning walk, Yashodanandana Prabhu, in Mayapur when Prabhupada talked to us someday soon there'll be a war. And this particular purport talks about it. It gives us an idea. When you're divine and if you're demoniac, when you're demoniac, this is what you do. So text 9, Rupesh, of chapter 16, text 9, and the purport. Following such conclusions, the demoniac who are lost to themselves and who have no intelligence engage in unbeneficial, horrible works meant to destroy the world. This is Kṛṣṇa speaking. Purport by Srila Prabhupada was also speaking, who Kṛṣṇa is also speaking through. The demoniac are engaged in activities that will lead the world to destruction. The Lord states here that they are less intelligent. The materialists who have no concept of God, none, think that they are advancing, but according to Bhagavad Gita, they are unintelligent and devoid of all sense. They try to enjoy this material world to the utmost limit and therefore always engage in inventing something for sense gratification. Think about this Puff Daddy person in entertainment. That's all he was about. And look at him now, in jail. Such materialistic inventions are considered to be advancement of human civilization, but the result is that people grow more and more violent and more cruel. Yes, billions of animals being killed. Cruel to animals and cruel to other human beings. They have no idea how to behave toward one another. Animal killing is very prominent amongst demoniac people. Such people are considered the enemies of the world because ultimately they will invent or create something which will bring destruction to all. Indirectly, this verse anticipates the invention of nuclear weapons of which the whole world is today very proud. At any moment, war may take place, and these atomic weapons may create havoc. Such things are created solely for the destruction of the world, and this is indicated here. Due to godlessness, such weapons are invented in human society. They are not meant for the peace and prosperity of the world. So, very insightful purport by Srila Prabhupada for all of us. And it is unfortunate that people in this modern world, especially in Canada and America, they are oblivious to the dangers that are in front of them right now. They're so preoccupied in their pursuit of material sense gratification that they do not see that there could be mass devastation at the whim of some kind of frivolous politician. Well, glories to Prabhupada. Yashodanandana Prabhu, please.
Very important point that is being raised here. The whole world is concerned about events, especially in the Middle East. But this is the result of animal killing. During the Vietnam War, devotees asked Srila Prabhupada, why is this taking place? What does this war have to do with people in America? Prabhupada, because you kill animals, then naturally, by the law of karma, you will have to suffer. But people in this age do not understand the law of karma. Everybody thinks, oh, I know about karma, you get a reaction. Well, you also get reaction now from activities in the past. And the activities you do now, this animal killing, indiscriminate animal killing, especially cow killing, will produce a very dangerous result in the future. That is why the Bhagavad Gita recommends, Yeshantamandagatam papam, finish all the sinful activities. Follow the unimpeachable direction of the acharyas. Become purified, like in this purport. Prabhupada's telling everyone, become godly, live a godly life, live a divine life. Then you will get good result. If one lives a demoniac life of engaging in intoxication, illicit sex, animal killing, there will be a demonic result. And this is what we're seeing. But people do not understand this. This is very, very troublesome times, which can only be counteracted by the practice of Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna.
Yes, and I see a comment here, Yashodanandana to Prabhu, about abortion. Now baby killing from Bhakta Roy. And it's interesting to note, everyone, and I think anyone in the West here, who's following these elections in America, such a demoniac country, one of the big issues is abortion. And they do a rating. A rating on the economy, who is ahead, who's behind, and a rating on abortion. They rate it. And it appears that people are supporting, for whatever reasons. It's a detailed, complex subject for them. But the fact of the matter is, abortion is killing the baby within the womb for whatever reason. So we have the killing of the animals. We have the killing of the child in the womb. We have the ongoing sinful activities of people, like here in Ontario now. We're such in a difficult situation. Our Premier of Ontario, it's like the governor in America, he's celebrating that now we're able to buy alcohol in the corner stores. Oh, wow. That people, I know in Quebec they do that. And in America, I guess that's a rule there. They allow, in Ontario here up till now, they had specific stores run by the government where you could buy alcohol. But now they've opened it up so you can go into the grocery stores. They're trying to become more advanced in their ability to get intoxicated. This is complete madness. And we are so, Prabhupada talked about that in India, is so horrible. That animal slaughter is also big there. So here in America, in Canada, and this part of the world, now they're celebrating. Now you can get drunk anytime you want. Just go to the corner store and buy your booze and go fall down stupid. So this society is on a road to hell. This is the reality. And we are on a road back to home, back to Godhead, because a devotee sees with his ears. And Prabhupada, through his bona fide literature, is enlightening us. And this is what we take shelter of. And these classes that we're performing for everyone's benefit are meant to give people hope that this world is not lost for us. It is actually an opportunity to make spiritual advancement without any interference from bogus so-called gurus. Dharma Bhavana in Dallas, Texas, and we'll move in with our panel. I see that other members are here to speak. Dharma Bhavana, maybe you could share some insights on today's Bhagavad Gita as it is.
Yeah. Thanks for that wonderful class. I just wanted to comment how it's actually quite difficult to give a perfect reading and discussion. If you just read all the time from the books, somebody's going to say there's not enough discussion. If you discuss a whole lot, if somebody will say you're not reading from the books enough. So some kind of balance is necessary, and I can appreciate you, Nandan, Bishop Karma. You do your best to have a good balance. I'm just going to ask a question. Sometimes it looks like some of the devotees are doing fire sacrifices a whole lot for different reasons. And I was just thinking, what are the really proper circumstances for fire sacrifices? I mean, I know like for marriages, initiation ceremonies, and temple openings. But what about the other situations? What is really proper for devotees to do a fire sacrifice?
I'll get Yashoda to answer. I mean, when I was president of Toronto Temple, we basically did we had two ceremonies, one a fire sacrifice, mainly for us. Actually, it was one, just initiations. That was the main sacrifice that we practiced. It wasn't, we only introduced weddings because we had that building, and then we started to perform them and help other people. But actually, it was only one fire sacrifice. Even back then, we never celebrated Diwali. Did you know that? That wasn't a program in
Yeah.
our schedule. Prabhupada never said we should, and then all of a sudden it's become this big program. So like that, mainly it was for initiation ceremony. That was it, single. Yashodanandana Prabhu, please.
It's a very interesting question. In the Vedic system in India, the traditional Vaishnava sampradayas, they used to do fire sacrifices on a daily basis by offering oblations into the fire, praying to different incarnations of Lord Vishnu, sometimes demigods, but mainly incarnations of Vishnu, Lord Narayana. It's part of the Vedic system. What Srila Prabhupada did is very simplified the process. There's a few categories. When a temple was opened, the opening ceremony of the temple, there would be an abhishek, a bathing ceremony of the deity, and an elaborate fire sacrifice. What happened, for example, what we did in Hyderabad in 1976, Prabhupada told, because the local people said, they told Prabhupada, this temple will not be accepted by the local people unless you get some local Brahmins to do the opening. Prabhupada said, okay, arrange for it. So we arranged for 12 Sri Vaishnava Brahmins, the Vaishnava Brahmins from the Ramanuja Sampradaya, and they did this elaborate 3-day ceremony. And there's a special kind of fire sacrifice when you open a temple where the deity is placed on a special seat, and they recite the Purusha Sukta, and after each verse, they do the svaha into the fire, and they have the priest who conducts the yajna has a silver string attached to him, attached to the deity's feet and attached to his wrist. And they do all the mantras, transferring the power of the mantras into the deity. That's why it's called pran pratishtha, giving life to the deity on the instruction of the acharya. That's one kind of fire sacrifice. Prabhupada introduced fire sacrifice for temple openings. For marriage ceremonies, there's a fire sacrifice. For initiation, these were often conducted. There would be fire sacrifices. And for special days like Ram Navami, Narasimha Chaturdasi, Kṛṣṇa Janmashtami, people will do fire sacrifice by reciting 108 names of Kṛṣṇa, 108 names of Narasimha, 108 names of Lord Rama. These are done in Hindu society, in Vedic society. So the point that I'm trying to say is that fire sacrifice are common in the Vedic system, but our main approach to this point of fire sacrifice is to perform Samkirtan. Prabhupada mentions in a Chaitanya Charitamrita, he quotes Jiva Goswami, who quotes in the Bhakti Sandarbha that in this age, every ceremony should begin with chanting the name of Krishna, Samkirtan, and end with the name of Krishna. So this is, just a few points about that. Hare Krishna.
Wonderful points and very detailed. Thank you very much. And extremely educational for our group to learn these facts about the mission that Prabhupada propagated with us when he was here personally. Anila Shama, your hand is raised.
Hare Krishna. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Yashodananda Prabhu, I have 2 questions regarding today's class. Number 1, as we read in the purport, Srila Prabhupada says that the persons who have the divine vision could see the universal form of Lord Shri Krishna. Now, if you're not a devotee, you don't get the divine vision, and if you don't get the divine vision, you cannot see it. Now, at the beginning of the battle of Kurukshetra, one person was offered this divine vision, and one of them was none other than Dhritarashtra. Now, Dhritarashtra doesn't classify under any circumstances as a devotee because he was given a chance by Vyasadeva to see what's happening in the battle of Kurukshetra, which he refused. And after he refused, that same divine vision was offered to Sanjaya, and that is how Sanjaya got it. Now, I was trying to look up the history of Sanjaya to see what was he in his previous life or anything, whether he had any devotional background or anything. Yes, in the end of Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18, he does say that my hair is standing on end after listening to this conversation. So there was a transformation in Sanjaya, and he declares also that wherever there is going to be Arjuna and Krishna together, victory is always going to be onto that side. So that was my first question: is why was then Dhritarashtra offered by Vyasadeva this divine vision when when it is reserved for devotees only? That's number one. Number two, coming to this whole question about fire sacrifices, I'm sure everybody has heard about this whole fiasco which has happened in Tirupati Balaji, where the ghee which is used in the prasadam was tainted with beef lard and pig fat. Um, you know, uh, that is why the Yuga Dharma is Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Eva Kevalam, Kalo Nasteva, 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 Gatiranyatha. Prabhupada has always told us that we should even offer Abhishek through our chanting process because there's nothing pure in this age of Kali. Who knows what kind of ghee is tainted in our ghee over here, even in America? With all this cow killing and everything, do you think that we create enough amount of butter and enough amount of authentic butter from which the ghee is maintained, or are we also getting fat from similar sources? Who knows? So I would like you to even comment on this whole issue which is raising up and the advent of this Kali Yuga, which is getting more and more worse. And you can see the transition very, very rapid over here. In fact, what Dharma Bhavana Prabhu posted on Facebook about Prabhupada having his bath in the Yamuna River. You can look at it even then that the Yamuna River was so clean and now it is so polluted. So in our own lifetimes, we are seeing the deterioration of Kali Yuga so terrible. So if you can please comment on these two questions. Hare Krishna.
Thank you for these points. Let me just start with the Tirupati controversy. For those who are not aware, in Tirupati, the biggest temple in South India, the most popular temple in South India, it was found by some scientific analysis that the ghee that we used to make the ladus, the Tirupati ladus, had been contaminated with various kinds of non-acceptable substances. And what happened is that the chief minister of Andhra Pradesh made a suggestion that because in India, these temples are under secular boards where you have different Muslim, Christians, and different groups that are advising the temple board what to do. And a lot of the Hindus in the government says, wait a minute. We should have a Sanatan Dharma Rakshana board, a board that protects the interests of Sanatan Dharma or Vaishnav Dharma, that will advise and make sure that things are done properly. So that is eventually, hopefully, going in that direction. And the reason why that is because it's the influence of Kali Yuga, where everything becomes contaminated. And it's sad, but that's a reality. As far as these various questions about the universal form and Arjuna, many of these personalities in the Mahabharata, as you found out, when the entire Mahabharata has many stories of different curses and benedictions and incidents in people's past lives, in which their lives during the time of the Kurukshetra war, just like, for example, there was one great rishi named Maitreya Rishi. In the Mahabharata, there's the story how he went to see Duryodhana. And this rishi advised Duryodhana, do not engage in this war. Give the Pandavas their villages, make peace with them. Do not go further, because if you go further, it will be a big, ominous destruction of your family. And Duryodhana, in the role that he played, he laughed at the rishi, slapped his wrist, and insulted him. And this person cursed Duryodhana. Your entire dynasty will be destroyed for disrespecting that rishi. And there's many other similar stories. As far as Sanjaya and his power, it's obviously part of the Leela, the pastime of the Bhagavad Gita. The reason why that whole war took place is the Bhagavad Gita would be given, and also to restore Maharaj Yudhishthira as the rightful king of the kingdom of Hastinapur. So as far as all the details of who had this vision, that vision, I mean, It's fairly complex, as you know. And all we have to understand is accept that the Bhagavad Gita was given by Sanjaya, explained to Dhritarashtra, and Dhritarashtra in this particular role was not favorable to the Pandavas. He was blinded, not only physically, but blinded as an understanding of the events of the war. And that is one very important point to understand. He was spiritually blind. So that is, one brief explanation. As far as the current events in the world, I'll go back to the point that I made earlier, that this meat eating and unnecessary killing of animals is the root cause of all of this. And there will be much more discretion. We see there's big conflict in the Middle East, there's conflict in Ukraine, there's conflict between the Houthis, and there's conflict all over the place. And at some point, something may happen much more devastating. We hope not. We pray not. That's why Prabhupada recommended, like, for example, there was a conversation with Prabhupada on a morning walk where I believe one of the leaders said, well, if there is a war, big war, a world war, some devotees will die. And I remember Prabhupada's reply, you're not this body. You're not this body. Whether you die now or later, it's going to happen sooner or later. So all these events that are taking place, our only view is to take shelter of Kṛṣṇa. Keep living the life we're living, following the example of Srila Prabhupada, and in this way, we will understand. I hope it helps. Hare Krishna. And thank you for your insights and realization and the wonderful management of that Thursday class on Chaitanya Charitamrita. I was on the side of a highway. I had to stop at a gas station in the back, and I was looking at all these beautiful displays. It was fascinating, very, very inspiring. Just like when I'm seeing this picture behind Rochisa Mataji of Srila Prabhupada, it doesn't look like a picture. It looks like Prabhupada is manifested from her heart. The same thing on Thursday. I'm looking at all these pictures in this presentation. I'm looking, this is a manifestation of your love for Srila Prabhupada and your love for hearing the Chaitanya Charitamrita and Bhagavatam. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Yes, thank you. And thank everyone for joining us in this blissful Satchidananda, the bliss of Krishna consciousness is found in the association of devotees with like-minded purposes. And this society, Hare Krishna Society and Prabhupada Disciples Association, it manifests that focus on Srila Prabhupada's mission and how we, all of us here in this group, can assist in manifesting this mission even in 2024. So if there's any service that you're interested in doing in terms of technology, in terms of book publications, we do want to expand the book publications in Ukraine. We want them, they have a very interesting program we'll be introducing where they manufacture bead bags, and they have beautiful murtis of Srila Prabhupada that they are producing. And we're going to help them distribute these and raise funds for publication of books over there and in other parts of the world. And all the money that comes from these items that we will be presenting will be given specifically to them. This is not a business. Our goal is not to amass huge amounts of money. Sure, Lakshmi is a great thing as long as we engage it carefully in Prabhupada's service without any personal motivation, which is going on, or waste. Just think about how many tens of millions of dollars have been wasted by our godbrothers in flying frivolously here and there, like some kind of rock star gurus. Going here, going there, going to Hawaii, coming back, go to South America, go to Trinidad, go to India, go here, go there. What the heck? Who has money like that? They just spend it without any caution? Most people don't. But this is going on, waste of money. So if anyone has Lakshmi they want to engage in our work, please get in touch with us. We will use it 100% in propagating the original mission of Srila Prabhupada in his books and other services. Panchagoda, go ahead, please. Just speak from Ukraine.
Krishna, dear devotees, with accept obeisances, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. I just wanted to add some information about that wonderful murtis we are making. Maybe a
Yes.
bit later, we will share some nice videos and photos, and their size is almost 12 inches. So it's quite a big one for the home use, and we'd like to spread it out in every house of Prabhupada's disciple in the world. So this is our real goal, because it's realistic. It's not like you can buy any from Vrindavan when it looks like, not like Prabhupada, but when it looks like some old man. Just you cannot recognize when you come into the temple and you look at the Murti and like, who is that? So now we are making the one Murti which will be bronze covered with gold. In 1 week we'll have it. So we have very big plans for distributing and for printing books. Our big goal is to reprint these conversations of Srila Prabhupada, and we're looking forward for getting the team, because money is not the problem. Krishna has all the money in the world. We ran so many projects, the Vedic jewelry, printing books. My friend here, he is the biggest Prabhupada's disciple in Ukraine, and he printed for more than $500,000 for this maybe 5 or 7 years. So our goal is to raise a very nice team. This is the most important, because people are like jewels, the devotees. Not we don't need many devotees. We need not many stars. We need just few moons here. Hare Krishna.
Oh, thank you very much, Prabhu, for speaking. And I wanted to let everyone know I had a chance to meet with the group there last week for an hour and a half on a Zoom call. And it was extremely inspiring for myself to see their struggle and their enthusiasm and determination to spread Krishna consciousness despite all of the difficulties in the Ukraine, which is being run by a bunch of, people that are self-motivated for personal aggrandizement, let's say. So very, very interesting events are unfolding with our group everywhere. Are you raising your hand, Nilesh?
Yes.
Go ahead, please.
Prabhuji, I had a quick question, especially since Panchagoda Prabhu is here and others are here.
Yes.
It'll be about a couple of weeks till we can get this real-time translation done, as yourself and Yashanandan Prabhu speak, or anybody speaks in English. We can have that translation as subtitles, as if you're watching a movie with subtitles in the language which you prefer. So would you prefer to hear it at the same time, or would you prefer the subtitles? Obviously, when we want to get fancier, we're trying to use artificial intelligence to help us translate it. And this is going to be in several languages, which covers all major languages in the world. As far as the dialects and the sub-languages are concerned, like Hindi, Gujarati, Marathi, and Bengali, that gets a little bit more difficult. But I'm in the process of talking. So if Panchagauda Prabhu or anybody from France or anybody from Italy have any suggestions that subtitles would be good enough, or if you need actual audio also at the same time, because what happens is when you're reading subtitles, you may not be able to get the gist of the speaker's certain symptoms or certain way of emphasis on certain words, and you may miss that. So the question is that, and of course the third part is I want to do this as a pilot study before we marry into any one particular company, so that we can see the authenticity of the translation. So a feedback from each one of you, especially who speak multiple languages and who want to transmit this message that whatever Yashodanandan Prabhu is preaching here, whatever Vishwakarma Prabhu is preaching here, can reach as many people as possible, and let not English be the only language which they need to know. So I need a lot of feedback. If they can talk to Yashodanandan Prabhu or Vishwakarma Prabhu or myself, you can text me, email me, whatever works, WhatsApp me, and we can proceed from there. That's what I wanted to share. Hare Krishna.
Okay, what is the email that you use, Nilesh? Could you give it
We
out
can,
for everyone or type it in there
yeah,
in
I
the
can
chat?
type it out in the chat so that everybody can have that. But a feedback will be there. But it'll take me at least 2 weeks to do that, because the current subscription with Zoom does not allow us to do that. So what I'm
Uh-huh.
trying to do is not this coming Thursday, but the next Thursday afterwards, because I may not be here this Thursday, but the class will be still there. So what I would like to do is incorporate the subtitles through my Zoom link and see how that works. So we will try different platforms, and then depending on the authenticity, especially people who know both English and the language, the local language, those their feedback will be the most important to see how accurate those translations are. Hare Krishna.
Okay, Panchagoda, you have your hand up. We'll finish up. Go ahead, please.
I would like just to give a short feedback on Nilesh Prabhu question about this artificial intelligence. Before joining the Zoom meetings, I was listening to the meetings on YouTube platform, and there is an option there. There are some special programs which allow do this to get the subtitles on YouTube platform or the artificial intelligence speaking. So, and the experience is that robots, artificial intelligence, it's not very accurate. It's not very appropriate when you speak about Krishna, about some stories. It's like 50-50, you know? So we decided to make it like this. We are cutting the small pieces of your programs, and we now have a few translators that we are going to make it in local language. This is the best way for now. Maybe in general it's good to have the experience, and maybe we try different types, the speaking and subtitles. But for today, artificial intelligence is not very appropriate, accurate into Russian language. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, if you have somebody who can work as interpreters also, then we have programs which can incorporate live interpreters who can actually interpret it in languages whichever you prefer. So if you can arrange for interpreters, we can even incorporate them into this program.
Nilesh
Perfect.
Prabhu, I can communicate with you after the program, maybe, so we'll talk about it.
Excellent. Thank you, everyone. And you can see, everyone, that Kṛṣṇa is helping us to broadcast this message effectively globally. And the impact will be that we'll have more and more people coming on board and becoming a part of our mission to protect Prabhupada's legacy into the future with the truth of the matter in terms of Guru Tattva and Vani incarnation. Yes, Yashoda Prabhu, go ahead.
Well, if some devotees wanted to hear some recitation of Brahma Samhita, why don't we do that tomorrow morning at part of the Srimad Bhagavatam class, and I can recite 1 or 2 verses in the tune that Prabhupada approved or liked. So I don't want to pollute the atmosphere today. We'll do that tomorrow.
Thank you very much, and we'll move forward. So everyone, please, we'll see you tomorrow morning at Srimad Bhagavatam discussion and reading. And at the same time, we'll have the further information on how we're unfolding this mission in the service of Srila Prabhupada. And if you can help us in any level, please be in touch, and we will work together to expand what we're doing globally. We'll go with the final kirtan. It's a 2.5 minutes, so chant along with Srila Prabhupada, and then the closing remarks and broadcast. Hare Krishna, glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Let us offer our respectful obeisances to all the assembled Vaishnava devotees. Vanchakalpa tarubhyascha kripa sindubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo namo namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances. We all offer our respectful obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord, who can fulfill the desires of everyone, just like desire trees, and we're full of compassion for the fallen souls. Thanks everybody for participating. Rupesh Prabhu in Bombay, India, Mumbai, India, for managing the program. Vishwakarma Prabhu from Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Panchagoda Prabhu from some location in Ukraine. And all the wonderful devotees, Neil Sharma Prabhu from Miami, Florida, and everybody who participates in the program. And as I indicated, tomorrow we'll try to chant 1 or 2 verses from the Brahma Samhita in the tune that Srila Prabhupada liked and approved. And we will take it from there. Again, welcome everybody to tomorrow morning's HKS in Prabhupada Disciples Association program on Srimad Bhagavatam on Sunday, September 29th, at 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, corresponding to 10 a.m. Florida time in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada time. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama.